great team effort today. I'm so proud of you guys for the way. Listen, these are not easy 10 days. Not easy 10 days, being away, all that kind of stuff. But you handle these 10 days, these 2 ball games with class, number one. And we came over here and we said we wanted to be not only 1-0, but 2-0. And we're 2-0 going back to the U.S. Great job. Great job. I mean, a lot of things we could talk about defense. Obviously, that first half was tremendous. Offense, the way to go down 93 or 2-yard drive, 10, whatever it was. To get nice job right there. Okay? But I'm telling you. That's the strength. You strengthen numbers, man. Strengthen numbers, right? When someone is not feeling their best, somebody else rallies and the team rallies around them. That's what you did today. And that's what you did. All right? My hat is off to you guys. I'm so proud. Congratulations. This ride's going to be sweet going on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, that's only 2, though. That's only 2. We got to do this every week. Every week. Great job, fellas. Let's enjoy this flight. Jags on 3. 1, 2, 3. Jags! Let's
go. Welcome into Jags A.M. this Wednesday, presented by Jet HomeLoans. Kainani Stevens, Brian Sexton, John Oehser. We are back in studio. We're all happy to be back home after a couple of weeks in England, and coming back 2-0 feels pretty good, Brian.
Man, I tell you what, the mood on the plane, the mood of the franchise at 1-2, coming off that really bad loss to the Texans. I don't want to say a cloud went with them to London, but they didn't feel really good. And to have the absolute reverse come back with them, the sunshine, even though it was dark when we came back, it's a good way to get ready for an important game on Sunday against the Colts.
Yeah, Doug was asked after the game about pumping his fist to the crowd, and he said, if we win like that, I always pump my fist. He should. To me, it's the best win he's had here.
It was a good one. I know we would have been excited to split that series 1-1, but we come back 2-0, so things are good here. Start off with our big things this week, and big thing number 1 is cheers, because it was a pretty good trip over the pond, obviously coming back with 2 wins. Now they're 3-2. Josh Allen talked about what the team was able to get done and what they're looking like now.
This was a complete win, offensively, defensively, special teams. NFL is a week-to-week basis. You never know what to expect. Heck, we didn't expect to lose to the Texans, but we didn't prepare the right way. And those are the outcomes that will happen. When you prepare the right way, when you have the mindset, when you have the confidence going into each game that you can dominate each matchup, you play with a sense of swagger. And today we had that swag, offensively, defensive, special teams, and kudos to everybody, the coaching staff as well, for not losing their cool. Everybody keeping sane and just knowing that we're going to win this game, but we all got to stay in it.
John, it was a big win because of the opponent they beat, but also because of the way they did it, because it was a full team effort and we saw everybody kind of doing what they needed to do.
Well, I thought, I haven't asked Doug this, but that felt like sort of an old NFC East type game, if you will. They had to fight for it. They had to scrap for it. I've said multiple times since that game, I thought the most impressive thing was that I didn't think they played great in spots. They gave away a lot of points. The defense, I thought, played great.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but offensively, you had 474, but mistakes, fumbles, and yet leaving things on the field, they still won. And then in crunch time, the last 17 minutes of that game or so, a 17-play drive where you get nothing, and then 2 drives where you stick it down their throat. Mm-hmm. And if you had told me last Wednesday they were going to stick it down the Bills' throat in the fourth quarter, I'd have told you were nuts.
Well, that was the most.
I didn't think they could do it. And so I thought it was a game where they enforced their will, and they won a street fight against a really good team. And again, I think it's whatever the comebacks were late last season. To me, it was the best win Doug's had here.
Well, they had an answer, right? I mean, and previous Jaguars teams would not have had an answer in the fourth quarter. And yet, every time, second half starting forward, as the Bills seemed to be getting momentum, Kai, the Jaguars were able to take it off their 7, their 8, their 7. They never got pinned deep. There wasn't a turnover deep in their own territory that flipped the field. And then, as we saw, the 2 touchdown drives with Travis Etienne topping it off. You mentioned an old NFC East type feel. I didn't think the Jaguars' offensive line played that well. Now, part of it was they had to shuffle things when Walker Little went down, and part of it's the fact that the Bills' defensive line is really good. Oliver is a hugely disruptive force and gave everybody problems, and yet he didn't win the game. Right?
Yeah, I guess what I meant, I certainly didn't mean the offensive line dominated, but again, the answer part, the fact that it felt like a fight, that no matter what happened, they were going to figure out a way.
Right.
It felt like a postseason game in that sense, where sometimes in the postseason you got injuries, you got things going nuts, and you just figure out a way to make a play to win. They won big games last year, but that's the best opponent they've beaten since he's been here, and the way they did it, to me, was super impressive. I think he's really proud of that win.
He should be. Look, what I was saying is that they didn't play all that well against a really good defensive front, and yet they still found a way to get things done. Same thing, we just heard from Josh Allen. They didn't get that quarterback on the ground, yet both Allen and Walker drew a holding penalty, and anytime he dropped back 5 or 7 steps, he had someone in his face. You don't look at the stats and you don't look at the highlights and say, well, they really made his day long. They did. They harassed him consistently, except with the short drops when he got rid of the ball quickly.
Because this is a team that's scoring 30 plus every week. We
Yep.
have to remember, they let them score, but this is a team that can score a lot more than that. And also for me, I think some of the big stuff was the resiliency we saw out there, whether it's Darius Williams getting picked on the entire game, but then coming up with 2 of the biggest plays in the game, or even on offense, Travis Etienne having a hard time finding his way in the middle, but he bounces outside later and gets 2 touchdowns. So I think for me, it was nice to see that resiliency, because we hadn't seen that earlier in the season when we were getting down and then everybody was mentally down and they weren't coming back. So for me, that was one of the things I was very excited to see. Our second big thing today is going to be see you later, bye. This is something we've talked about before, but I wanted to bring up again because I know people have questions about it. We go away for 2 weeks to England, and we do not have a bye this week. We're going to be facing off against the Colts. Doug talked about it after the game on Sunday.
You know, we're still so early in the season after 5 games to take the bye this early, and it's a long season, a lot of football left, and so I feel like if you can push your bye towards the middle of the year, it might benefit you. But I'll do my part, to help our team recover this week coming up, and but yet still making sure that they're prepared mentally for the Colts next weekend.
Brian, we'll see if it works out for him, but it seems like it's the way that Doug likes to see it, at least halfway through the season.
Yeah, that's something that they'll be really appreciative of. It's funny that if you go back to Sunday and count forward 11 days, they will have had 3 games in 11 days with the Colts and the Saints. It's a really big challenge. Then the flip side is that over the next 24 days following the Saints game, they only have 1 game because of the bye week. So they're going to put their head down and grind through this thing. And I'm interested, John, to see how they feel when they get back out on the practice field today. They came home, they had Monday and Tuesday without practice. They went really light. Do you treat this like a Thursday night schedule, right? Where you basically have a walkthrough all week long to get ready for the Colts to ensure that your guys aren't just ready for this Sunday, but next Thursday?
Yeah, I don't know if you go walk through. It'll be interesting because Doug hadn't given that away as of Sunday night, and my guess is he has a plan, but that he put a lot of thought into it in the off season because it is a challenge. I'm sure his message today, it's Wednesday, and I'm sure he's saying, guys, give me 8 days, and we'll get you through New Orleans, and then you can rest. But you got to get through this little segment because it's really important. And think about how you would feel if they would win the next 2, be 5-2, come out of North. Not to look too far ahead, but all of a sudden now you're through that. After Houston, no way I'd have predicted they'd have had a shot at that. So it's right there for them.
Well, let me ask you guys, and we obviously didn't play, so it's not an apples to apples comparison. How do you feel? Right, it's Wednesday.
I'm good.
We've been back for 2 days.
John's thrilled,
right?
so.
Are you back to normal? Are you back into your normal circadian rhythm?
To be fair, I'm on like a Brian Sexton schedule. I woke up at like 5:45 this morning, so it was very productive in the morning, which
Good for you.
maybe I won't fully switch back because that seems to be working for me.
I like that morning schedule.
You don't want to know what my normal is.
Yeah, your normal's probably what, 9:30?
I mean, no, I'm not quite back yet, but it will be a challenge because the one thing I'm not sure people fully realize, and I hadn't really thought about it until after this game on Sunday, no teams ever got acclimated fully and then come back and tried to do it.
Right.
And people can say, well, they've been playing in London for years and years and years. What are you talking about? But the body clock does get used to it. So this is a new thing that they're trying to do. So I've had people ask me, how will they do it? I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to find out. It is a major storyline.
We touched on our final big thing, now and then, which is a little bit of that stretch. We are currently in that 11-day stretch where they're going to play. They played last Sunday, they play this Sunday, and then they'll play on Thursday. And then after that, we only have that one game against the Steelers in 24 days because the bye week comes after that. So that'll be a bit of a rest. I want to talk to you guys a little bit. We talked about this may be a hard stretch for them, but if they string in 3 wins together, it's almost like they're getting that momentum and then they're taking a week off. Do you believe in that, or do you think the bye can never be coming at a bad time?
I got to be honest with you, mid-season, if you were in that momentum surge and you had a bye week to get ready for the best team in football who comes in here after
that's
that
true.
with San Francisco, I mean, I was at an event last night with Tony Dungy, who was in San Francisco last week for that Cowboys game, and he said they are absolutely the real deal. They are a downhill running team. If you have that week off before you have to play them, I think everybody involved would appreciate that.
It gives you a shot. I'm not a huge believer in momentum. Jaguars had none going to London and played great. So it's the next day's starting pitcher, right? I mean, that's usually what it is. But if you believe in it, and if they believe they have momentum, more power to them.
Yeah.
All right, they're going to need all those 2 weeks for the 49ers, that's for sure. Stay with us. We'll look around the AFC South, see what's going on in the division on Jags A.M.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
In partnership with Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, any Jaguars ticket holders who are unable to attend a Jaguars home game can donate their future tickets to a Jacksonville area first responder. Visit jaguars.com/members and click Manage Account. Sign into your account and click Manage Tickets and Parking. Select the game tickets, click on the More button, and then choose to donate to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Firehouse Subs is dedicated to impacting the life-saving capabilities and the lives of local heroes and communities. For more information, visit FirehouseSubsFoundation.org. Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who serve this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal Promotion. Please drink responsibly.
Fields Auto Group Jacksonville, step up to luxury, fieldsauto.com. Fans, on Tuesday, October 24th from 5 to 6, you can head to Publix, located at E-Town Exchange, to meet Jacksonville Jaguars players for a special appearance from 5 to 6. Again, that's Publix, located at 11025 E-Town Parkway here in Jacksonville on Tuesday, October 24th from 5 to 6 to meet members of the Jaguars. We're back here on Jags A.M. on this Wednesday. We get prepared to face off against the Colts again, the second time this season. And we'll get into that matchup a little more tomorrow, but we want to look around the AFC South and see what's going on and keep you guys abreast of the situation and what everybody's doing. And when the Colts come to town, it's going to be Minshew Mania again as it returns to Jacksonville this week. Also, we're going to talk about each of these a little bit individually. The Titans are having some troubles right now. They fell to the Colts last week, and it feels like every other week we talk about them, it's either they've gotten it back together or they're back to missing something. And then CJ Stroud has not thrown an interception still to this point. They lost last week to the Falcons, which helped us out a little bit, but CJ Stroud is going to be trouble for however long he plays, because it's going to be troublesome for sure. When we look at Minshew, I will revert to you guys because you guys were here for all of it. What is he able to bring to that team? Is it able to get them a couple more wins, and will he be able to do that on Sunday?
Well, he seems to have this penchant for the play that you don't expect, right? He's not fast, but he gets out of the pocket and he makes risky throws, but so far he hasn't thrown an interception this year, and his completion percentage is north of, I think, 70% in the limited time. Really, what's interesting about this is I don't think it's Gardner Minshew that you worry about. It's the fact that they've got a running game with Zach Moss and the return of Jonathan Taylor that will make everything easy for him. If he doesn't have to worry about guys pinning their ears back, I mean, I think he has a chance to be very effective because that Colts running game, the other thing it's done is it's rejuvenated an offensive line that had sort of lost its personality, John. I mean, a few years ago, that group led by Quentin Nelson was the best offensive line in football. Kind of fell off. Now, with two running backs that are capable of making the house call from anywhere on the field, they played really well last week against the Titans. And the Titans' front is no slouch.
Yeah, Gardner does scare me in this game. Not because of a revenge thing or whatever, but over the course of 10 games, I believe Gardner's probably a 500 quarterback. But for one game, he's really dangerous because he gets outside the pocket. He'll make weird decisions, but good decisions. He'll go off script, and he's really accurate. Really, all over the field is really accurate. What he doesn't have is the arm strength to make the huge chunk throw 25 yards downfield.
And they don't have the receiver to do it either.
If it's 3rd and 11, you've got to get him in situations that he's making throws he doesn't like to make. Then you can get him a little bit. But on one drive, if you're up by 4 on this guy with 2 minutes left, he's going to have 3 weird plays, and all of a sudden he's going to be on your 20 with a chance to win the game. So to me, Brian, I don't think they trailed in London, the Jaguars, if I recall.
No.
Well, that's the first time they've done that, the Doug Peterson era, 2 straight games. They need to get up on this team, play as well, tackle as well. They tackled really well on Sunday. Tackle the Colts as well, get a lead, and then you've got a chance to put this team in situations they don't want to be. But don't let the Colts be even with you in the second half, because then they're playing their own game.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, Minshew in his rookie season in 2019, he was unpredictable. But when we last saw him here, what was he, 1-7 as a starting quarterback? I mean, it's
good team he was on too.
Well, no, I'm not taking that away, but he didn't do anything to take the team over the top. No, I mean, he didn't do anything over the course of those games. And the Minshew mania was really about 2019. And the cult of personality that goes with him. I mean, he's that fun guy that people like. If the Colts are going to win on Sunday, they're going to do it because the Jaguars will be unable to stop their running game. They don't have a down the field, field stretching kind of threat. This should not be a game where Gardner Minshew wins. It should be the kind of game where if the Jaguars stop the run, they win.
Elsewhere in the division, we want to talk a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about this and this or that, but the Titans are just like week by week. We don't really know what we're getting out of them, and they're always scary, of course. But are they going to come back and kind of find their personality? Do we think, John, at this point, or is it?
Well, I'm purely theorizing because I have not had a chance to really dig into the Titans. But I talked to one person up there. Talked to people who've seen them a little bit. They feel like a team. I think they're really disciplined and really well coached. They know how Vrabel likes to play. It feels like that has gotten them some good wins this year. It's kept them close. I wonder how they're going to be week 6, week 7, once teams get film on all teams. Mm-hmm. Sometimes teams slide at that point. I wonder if the Titans have enough left to sort of get through that mid-season time when teams figure you out and then you adapt. I don't know the answer to that, but sometimes teams that are older hanging on will start real well. The Jaguars, remember in Tom's last season, had a really good start, and then it just sort of fell apart. Is that what the Titans are now? I don't know. But I think there's a possibility. But again, Brian, I've been around this Titans team.
Yeah, you still have a lot of respect for what they've been able to do.
I don't count them out until they're out, but I wonder how they're going to get through the next 2 months.
It's a good front in Indianapolis, but Derrick Henry on 4th and 1, you're betting on Derrick Henry, right? Yeah. He couldn't get 4th and 1.
And that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
Have they gotten figured out where the stuff they count on works anymore?
Part of it is their offensive line, right? They've got 4 new starters on the offensive line. But Ryan Tannehill, we know, was an effective quarterback when Derrick Henry was that incredible threat. You had to account for Henry with an extra man near the line of scrimmage, and then Tannehill was willing to go downfield. Right now, the whole thing looks off because Derrick Henry isn't Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill hasn't changed. He's still Ryan Tannehill. Their defense is good. They will have games where Derrick Henry gets going. But I've heard whispers that perhaps they'll try to move Derrick Henry before the season's over to a contender. So you never know. They've got a young running back they like. Maybe Derrick Henry just doesn't. He didn't look like Derrick Henry last year. He doesn't look like Derrick Henry now. And he's had 10,000 carries in the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, at some point, those big backs, they wear down.
As far as the Texans go, we talk about C.J. Stroud. When he was here, he showed out for sure. He still hasn't thrown an interception. Is he going to have one of those days, or do we think he's just going to continue this until he's already at a record pace at this point?
Yes. Yeah, he's a rookie.
He'll have a day.
At some point, he's going to try to force it and make a play. He's another guy that has one threat down the field, Collins, and that's it. So at some point, he'll try. They'll be behind, and he'll try to force it in somewhere where it doesn't belong. I mean, at some point, he'll get frustrated, but he's a really mature kid.
Yeah, I think what's obvious with the Texans is right now he's playing really well, Stroud. It's gotten him to 2-3, but they're not a mature roster around him. So even when he's playing well, they're going to have games like last week where they lose to the Falcons in a game they could have won. Once they get mature another year, and it may happen this year. I don't know. The Jags last year came out of sort of nowhere. The Texans feel like this team did early last year. I don't think it's their year yet. But once they add a couple pieces around him, they're dangerous.
I'd like to see them win enough games to not being in the running for Marvin Harrison Jr.
That would be nice.
I mean,
let's cross our fingers.
Those two
it's already
at
gonna
Ohio
be tough.
State, let's win enough Texans so that you don't get him. Because if that happens, watch out.
All right, stay with us. We're going to go over this or that for what we got going on this week. Coming up next on Jags A.M.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Hi Jags fans, Andre Cisco here, safety of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, I've partnered up with Lou Ray Peanut Company to serve a greater mission for the Jacksonville community with the Peanut Pickoff. Here's the deal. Every time the Jags make a pick, Lou Ray is going to donate to youth football initiatives in and around the Jacksonville area. On top of that, the Jaguars Foundation will match every dollar. With each interception, our team inches closer to that W, and our kids get to train for a brighter future. Remember, it was always the Jags. Duval!
Have you noticed? It's raining a lot in our area lately. That means you can give your sprinklers a break and save some money in the process. Lawns only need water up to twice a week, and that can come from rain. So before you run your sprinklers, remember to watch the weather and wait to water. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
For 10 years, Dream Finders Homes have been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all of the available inventory, and go Jags. Price.com, also the easiest way to save money with comparison shopping, cashback, coupons, all in one. It's free. Try Price.com today.
This or that. This or that.
This or that day. So we're going to go over our this or that's for this week. Brian, what are you looking at?
Colts or Titans? Who is the Jaguars' biggest threat to win the division? I don't think the Texans are. I don't think this is their year. They didn't go all in on free agency like the Jaguars did last year. I don't think they have the pieces. I'm not sure the Colts have the quarterback situation. I mean, they have the running game, and they're going to win some games, and they're going to, I don't believe in the Titans. I've said that since we started this show. So I'm going to say it's the Colts, because I think with those two running backs and that offensive line, Gardner Minshew can be an efficient quarterback until Anthony Richardson comes back. And Richardson was averaging 5.7 per carry. And I mean, they can make it dangerous on you. If you have a screw up like they did against Houston, the Colts can catch you. So I think it's the Colts.
Yeah, I sort of agree. I think it's a real opportunity for this team, meaning the Jaguars. They haven't been in this situation. I was trying to remember the last time they had been a home favorite in the division this early, with a chance to sort of take control of the division. They were a home favorite against the Titans last year and won the division, a tight game. But this is one of those games that division champions, if you're going to be the team that goes, you beat the Colts and put the division in the rear view right now. So it's a real chance to be obviously up on the Colts by a sweep and then have the lead. I think if you had told anybody that, hey, after you beat Houston, you'll have a chance to be alone in first place in the division after 6 games. Wow, you'll take it. So this is their opportunity to, you win this, Brian, and it feels like the first 6 weeks are okay.
Yeah.
No matter what happened against Houston, you feel like, okay, we got it done. We're 4-2, clear of first place. I think it's a big one.
Well, you've equaled things out, right? Because you lost when you weren't supposed to, and you won when you weren't supposed to, because people didn't see the Jaguars beating the Bills in London. So if you get through this one, you're in great shape.
I think I'm with you, John, in the sense that if they lose on Sunday to the Colts, that would give me much more concern, I think, going forward with where you don't have the tiebreaker on your side, and that would be a little more concerning to me.
You'd still be okay because you're even. I mean, it's
Right.
not a disaster to lose this game because you've already beaten them. You know, I'm not saying you want to lose it, but it's not like, oh goodness, we got swept, now we're behind. It just means you're probably even with most of the division at that point, but it's a chance to go in and have a leg up. You want that.
Mike Vrabel always scares me, so I'm never going to entirely be cool with the Titans, but that's a concern. Well, I guess we'll end up seeing where things end up at the end of the year. John, what's your this or that for us this week?
Well, the Jaguars have beaten the Colts 8 straight times at home. I think everybody sort of knows that. One of those games was in London, 7 here. Is that good or bad? And I kind of laughed at myself doing this question because I don't really care. I'm not a big streak
John doesn't
person.
care, guys.
No, I mean, I don't really think that this kind of thing usually plays into very much.
Well, 8 years ago, it was a completely different team. They aren't the same players.
Right.
It's tough to compare.
But there is something to the way the Jaguars, even when they were bad, they beat the Colts bad a couple of times when the Colts were pretty good.
2020.
I do think that those streaks, if the other team gets up, meaning if the Colts get up on Sunday and are ahead in the first quarter, I think streak goes out the window. If the Jaguars get up by 10, then all of a sudden the Colts on the sidelines, you've heard it all week, then maybe there is something where they say, well, maybe we just can't win here. I don't think it'll be. I think it's better for the Jags to have won 8 straight, but I don't think it's a bad thing.
This is where I think that Gardner Minshew is a positive for the Colts because he doesn't care. He was the quarterback in 2020 when the Jaguars beat the Colts, led by Phillip Rivers. They were a playoff team that year. He beat them. He was 19 of 20 that day and threw 2 touchdown passes. He was highly efficient. He had a very good game. He is going to come in here with the hair flowing and the swagger. He ain't going to worry about how many games those Colts lost because he was in Philly or he was here. He didn't care at all. I don't know whether it's good or bad. I just know that it exists. For me, I enjoy the fact that it bothers Oehser, Jim Irsay, so much that he stands in front of his plane with that silly hat on and talks about Colts fans and Colts Nation and all. I love that. I love how mad he was. They came in here at the end of the 22 season needing to win to go to the playoffs. That's all they do was beat a team on a backup coach, right, with a rookie quarterback that was going nowhere. And these guys just punked them like they had Peyton Manning at quarterback. And maybe they did. Maybe they had their version of Peyton Manning in Trevor Lawrence. And I like a good rivalry. I like a little, hatred's too strong of a word, but I like a little dislike. And I like the fact that these two teams don't like each other and that they have lost here in perpetuity and that we can tweak them. That makes it fun.
A great stat. Reggie Wayne was still playing last time they won, and he's in his second year as a wide receiver coach.
Which is amazing.
These are good times. Let's hope that streak continues. My this or that this week is going to be about the Colts game and the Saints game. We always know those short weeks for Thursday Night Football are tough, but this is the first week back from London after we spent over 10 days there. So which one of those do you think is a tougher game? For me, normally I go Thursday Night Football, but I think this week is going to be a little bit weird. No one's stayed over there that long in London and played 2 games before. This will be the first week back. I don't think they will lose either of them, but I think this one might be a little tighter than we expect just because it is a division opponent and kind of getting your sea legs back now that we're back in Florida.
Jags have never won in New Orleans.
Never.
Yeah, and it's tough to go on the road on a Thursday. I mean, I'm not looking ahead guy and all that. If I had to pick one that's more concerning, I would say it's going on the road on a short week against a team with a really good defense, the Saints. That said, I think the Colts game is going to be a fourth quarter game, so I think they're both concerning.
All right, I guess we'll have to see. Stay with us. We're going to preview the rest of the week and tell you what we got coming up.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguar sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguar sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
In partnership with Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, any Jaguars ticket holders who are unable to attend a Jaguars home game can donate their future tickets to a Jacksonville area first responder. Visit jaguars.com/members and click Manage Account. Sign into your account and click Manage Tickets and Parking. Select the game tickets, click on the More button, and then choose to donate to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Firehouse Subs is dedicated to impacting the life-saving capabilities and the lives of local heroes and communities. For more information, visit firehousesubsfoundation.org.
The Buddy Bus is coming to Everbank Stadium on October 15th. Early detection is crucial, so check mammogram off your list before the Jags game as they take on the Colts. Learn more at baptistjax.com/buddy. Also, Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, you can check out zipchair.com to browse all customizable options. ZipChair is furniture for fans. Welcome back into Jags A.M. as we get ready for this week. We're finally back in Florida. Everybody's happy to be home for sure. What are you guys looking at this week, or what are you trying to focus on other than getting your sleep schedule back together, John?
I think I've got Darius Williams on the Ozone podcast, which will be interesting.
Should be.
Local kid who has really made a much bigger impact this year than he did last year. I mean, he's made 2 big plays in London. Maybe he wants to play over there all the time.
I'm really interested in this Colts team. I just tweak the owner because it's fun. But the reality of it is that they found a way to get Jonathan Taylor under contract. And early on, and he was very, vocal in saying, talking about not doing a deal. And yet he found a way to strengthen his football team. And Jonathan Taylor certainly does that. That'll keep that defense fresh. I mean, they come in as a real threat on Sunday.
Should be interesting because the Jags' run defense has been one of the best in the league so far this season, so that will certainly be a tough matchup for them. That game against the Colts this week is brought to you by Hyundai. There's still tickets available. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. It's your journey. Own every mile in a brand new Hyundai. Visit buyhyundai.com today. We will see you tomorrow as we fully preview that matchup against the Colts and Gardner Minshew's return here to Jacksonville. See you then.